my main man, Ben J. What's up, Ben? How you doing?
You're doing like a UFC intro,
I was
bro.
thinking of
like
doing. I was gonna go all in with it, but I was just like, well, I'll cut it off there. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Crazy week. Going to have a good weekend though. I got a bunch of my friends in town. Going out golfing tomorrow, so that's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Taking advantage of the off week, Tom. No
You're always golfing.
I know I'm always golfing, but this weekend, no CDL, so we're gonna take advantage of some leisure activities and have a good time.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. I've been doing absolutely nothing over here. I've been going for walks, Ben. That's what I do. I go for walks. I like to look at nature. Look at the birds flying in the sky. Listen to some music. Just chill out. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ben. I don't know what's going on in the chat today. A lot of people in this
on one, bro.
A lot of people in this chat, they just they can't seem to bring themselves together. You guys are a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna do our best to get through this and get the show going for these guys, because that's what we do. These guys are a little crazy, but we always come here. We do what we gotta do, Ben.
Feel you on that, Tom. You want to get right into it?
Let's get into it, Ben. I'm bringing up the new groups. We got Group A and Group B coming in. Guys, we got some crazy. Let me get this out of the way. All right, let me get it out. We got some crazy fucking matches, guys. Crazy matches. Wait. I like the Streamlabs. It gives people an inside look, Ben, of kind of like what goes on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, if you want to.
It's cool. It's cool production. It was fucking cool production. All right, let's get into it.
I'm frozen on your screen right now, though.
What do you mean you're frozen?
Mamma mia.
Oh shit! I know why. The problem, you guys. You want to know what the problem is? The problem is, Ben usually has the whole viewer thing. I click the link, we get it going. But now I'm controlling everything by myself today, so I got to worry about a lot of things. But my man Jack's coming in with a big 5. Can we get a whack in the chat for Jack? I'm gonna mute the sub sounds, guys. You guys know the deal, man. I'm gonna mute the sub sounds. But Jack, welcome to the stream. Ben, Group A, Group B. We got Ultra, Dallas, Minnesota, Florida, Paris, and Los Angeles Gorillas in Group A. In Group B, we got Atlanta FaZe, Optic, LA Thieves, New York Subliners, Seattle Surge, and London Royal Ravens. Who do you think is the better group here? I think it's B.
I think it's B, but I actually think A's. We're at the point now where these groups are so difficult, man, because the teams that are just 8 through 5, 8 through 4 can all beat each other. So all of these groups are tough. I will say, kind of at first look and watching the pick'em video as well, I was a little surprised that Toronto put Optic in FaZe's group.
Yeah,
I would have thought they would have put Dallas in FaZe's group. It just seems like Toronto matches up well against Optic. I feel like Dallas might be a little bit of a tougher matchup for them. But either team, it's not that big of a decision. I'm not surprised at how these groups kind of worked out. I'm really excited to kind of see. There are a couple of teams in Group A. We're going to see what new changes. Paris and Florida, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
New York obviously is rotating in. Thieves is kind of starting to dig in with their new roster.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting storylines kind of going through here, Tom.
This is crazy to me because both these groups just look insane. I'm just looking at, and then that's where it just hits me again, where I'm the competition. I say it all the time, the competition is just nuts. But I just feel like it gets crazier and crazier every time I see it. Because these two groups are probably, I don't think people realize how balanced these groups are.
Yeah.
They're pretty well fucking balanced with good talent and good teams. So when my immediate thought when I look at this group, a lot of people were saying, I said Group B, but now I'm looking at Group A and I'm I don't know, because they have...
No, Group B is better.
I know, but I'm saying you also look at Group A and you have the current champions, the last world champions. You have Minnesota, who's been really, really fucking good. You have Florida, who's about to enter a honeymoon stage. You have Paris, who's been looking good and is entering another honeymoon stage, picking up another player. They're going through changes. You know what I'm saying? You know how teams are when they first make changes. Then you got LA Gorillas, who personally has been underwhelming to me, but they beat teams like FaZe. They have upset material in them. And on the other side, you just got a bunch of more powerhouses, bro. A lot of good teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we can start with Group A. I think Group A, the groups are always balanced. I think Group A ends up being the top heavy group, where I'm there are 3 teams in this group. So if I would consider Toronto in that top tier group. Toronto, Dallas, Minnesota are a class above the other 3 teams. Now, wild card, is we haven't seen New Florida or New Paris play. We've seen that Florida can be good teams with slacks, but then they will lose to bad teams as well. Paris gives everybody a run for their money, and we'll see how much better they look with Donnie. I think LAG is going to get kind of smoked in this group, and Tom, I was a little surprised that LAG didn't make roster changes.
Me too.
I think it's gonna kind of bite them in the ass now. I feel like they're gonna have a real tough time in this group. Be kind of forced into rotating. So we'll see. I mean, do you have the sort of same rank? I don't know.
I agree. I agree that.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Ben. I think some of these teams need to take more advantage of roster changes and just who's available and who's out there. There's just so much fucking talent, man. And if you're looking at the top half of this league, it's just mind blowing to me that some of these changes haven't happened. Like, I'm just a little bit confused as to why. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe they actually have full belief in themselves, which, listen, man, they've obviously, a team like LAG beat FaZe. So sure, upset material is there, like we talked about, but just on a consistent basis, to win events, Ben, you need to consistently beat top teams.
I mean, I just feel like with LAG, my thing is I'm not sure what the goal of the team is. Am I wrong in saying that? Because
no.
I don't look at the team and I'm like, yeah, this ceiling is a top 4 team. I don't see that path to this team. That's why I'm a little confused about why they haven't made changes, because I'm looking at this group A, Toronto's a bad matchup for them. Dallas is a bad matchup for them. Minnesota's a bad matchup for them. They've given Paris and Florida runs at times, so those are interesting, but I feel like they're in a situation where they may get 1 or maybe 2 wins out of this group, also could get 0. And they're at the point now, by the way, where they're so far behind in point standings, they can't afford to have a bad stage. So then if you have a bad stage 3, you're like, well, shit, now we got to finish top 3 or top 2 at the next couple of majors just to even get into the top 8 conversation.
Yeah.
And have a spot going in champs. So I don't quite see it. So I just checked, and they're actually at 70 points right now, so they're actually in the 8th spot. But if you look at the teams below them, Florida has obviously been lagging a little bit. They're at 60, expecting to get more points. Paris is at 50. Again, our situation, expecting to play better. We've seen a lot more out of Seattle. They'll start to move up. London at 12th, I think, may kind of also be one of those bottom teams that kind of sticks there. But, the gap's going to kind of widen right now. There is a 40-point gap right now, Tom, in the standings between 8th and 7th. Minnesota's sitting at 110 points.
It's a battle for 8th right now. It's a battle for 8th.
LG's sitting at 70, and there's only a 20-point gap between them and their team. So, that can disappear in one stage.
Yeah. No, they worry me a little bit. And I definitely think with some of the talent that they can go pick up, they should make a change. Now, if they're going to do that, probably not, because I just haven't heard anything coming from their camp. And they seem like they're very well to themselves. So, I mean, hats off to them for sticking together, but I don't know if it's going to work out. I hope they prove me wrong. I really do. I just feel like just looking at the top half of this league, it's just so top heavy. Bro, there's just way too much talent these days. It's just disappointing too when you see it in challengers and you're like, damn, I wonder what these guys be doing if they're in the pros. You know what I'm saying? When I watch challengers, I see some crazy shit, bro. There's definitely some people that are waiting to come up and make a name. So we'll see how they do, man. I mean, we got to give them a shot. They've obviously twisted our heads before. So we'll see if they can do it again and maybe show some consistency. But you want to start talking about some of these rosters, Ben? Because you were mentioning Florida and Paris, right? Making roster changes. Obviously, we'll start with Paris. We got Donnie, a.k.a. Temp. He's being called up. He got the big call. They pulled the plug on fire, Ben. They pulled the plug.
Yeah.
And they brought in Donnie Temp. You like it? Do you like it? Do you think it's a good fit? Because I do.
We talked about it on the last show. I see the move. I think for me, it's where we're going to... This team will sink or swim when they deal with adversity. And I know you can say that by a lot of teams, but the personalities on this team, I still have question marks if they get on a 1 or 2 loss streak, how they respond in those situations. If they bounce back well, then I'm like, okay, this team's got some real potential, but they really are not in a position right now where they can afford to spiral.
Yeah.
They're 4-8 in record. They really, 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 really need to get top 8, top 6 of this major to really put themselves in a good position going into the stretch run of the season.
Yeah.
So the margin for error is a little bit tight for this team.
I agree.
And then to Florida, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the Havoc move. you know,
Why? Why,
I
Ben?
think, I think,
Tell me why. Why is
I
it
think
bother
my
you that much?
issue, I think my issue with the move is just the
Yeah.
pair with Neptune. I'm not convinced, and would love to be proven wrong in terms of their ability to play off each other in a way that we've seen other sub duos.
Mm.
I feel like they're both very much just like solo island players as sub players,
You
and
think
like that
so?
can. Well, yeah, and I mean, from watching some of the scrims I've seen, that's sort of how it plays out. And
Mm-hmm.
like when you play that way, you can win that way, but you can also lose that way because it's very inconsistent play style.
Yeah.
You're relying on those two players to really gun people individually and not play off each other and get a lot of trades. I think the bigger problem with the Florida team is Big Wake didn't have a great stage two. He fell off a little bit, and Skies has been kind of up and down at times. So if they can kind of like all kind of play better together, like this team will click and they'll get good at search again. But if not, it's going to be the same floor that we've seen where they're just like from series to series, you just have no idea which team is going to show up.
I'm gonna be honest with you with this whole Havoc thing. I'm still I'm fucking mind blown. What the hell is going on? Why did he step down to begin with, Ben? This is why I'm so confused about.
I wish I knew.
I don't know what the fuck happened still. Did he step down or did they drop him or was it a little bit of both? I don't know, guys. It sounds like a toxic relationship is going on over there. And I just don't know what the heck is happening. So the fact that he's back, people are saying they benched him. Somebody's saying he dropped. I'm pretty sure Havoc wanted to step back. I thought that's what was going on. I thought that's what was being told to me. Apparently he didn't want to play. So yes, they did bench. They did drop him. Then other stuff started coming out. Then I started hearing other shit. So I don't know what's true, guys. I don't know what's true. I'm just confused. Now Havoc's back in the lineup.
Yeah.
So they do whatever they got to do for the first couple stages. Now they got Havoc back in there. And I don't know what to think. Like, I'm just so confused. I like Havoc. I think he's a good player. I think I'm a little bit on your side, Ben. I don't know how they're going to mesh now. You said that you've seen them in scrims a little bit, and Havoc and
I get some
Neptune.
links here and there from teams, but like, you know, they're still like kind of early as a team, so we'll see what they look like next week. But I think that sub chemistry like is super important to this team. It makes it so much easier for the ARs. Just like you can play your pace because your subs are getting a lot of trades in front of you, so you can get to your power positions. You can play off corners. Like you can put Big Wake and Skies in power positions.
Yeah.
But where they were getting in trouble was their sub players were just not getting a lot of pressure and just putting it all to do on the ARs. And like sometimes you can win that way if your AR player is like a walking 2 or 3 piece on a given day, but then you're going to get into positions where you're just not going to 2v4 a team.
Yeah.
And I think also like Neptune's very good, but I also feel like when you watch him play that sometimes he like, and we've called that a couple times on the show, like I think he'll make plays where he makes spawns a little bit chaotic, situations a little chaotic. I think he's still learning how to play like the right sort of system of COD for how they want to play.
Which I personally think is fine. I think it's fine.
You can play with that chaos as long as like you're just prepared for split spawns and just sort of how that all plays out. But I actually think this team will get better in search, which is the bigger thing for me. Their search game was really lacking last stage. Really in stage 1 too, because they played a lot of checkmate S&D, and Big Wig was dropping like 12 every map, and they were still losing, so that was tough.
Yeah.
But if Florida can get a little bit more solid in the respawns, step it up in the S&Ds, like they're going to be a tough out in this group, and it's going to put a team like I'll say this, like from my POV, and I know Toronto just won the last event. I think in this group, like if Florida and Paris are really good, Dallas is maybe the only team in my eyes that's maybe a 100% lock for top 3. But like as we've seen, if we get in like a 3-2 kind of situation with a 3-way tie, like it gets really, really crazy. I think Toronto will probably be one of those teams. If I had to roll a guess, it's Minnesota is a team that I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm curious about them too.
Here, how they play.
I think they're going to be good.
They're going to be good, but they also have a lot of pressure on them. Again, going back to the standings, they're in that same bucket with Thieves where they're sitting at 6th, 7th right now. And you're like, okay, well, we're in playoffs, but we also don't want to be like, we want to be getting towards the bye situation. We also don't want teams behind us to start catching up.
Yeah.
So we want to put ourselves in a position to get a nice little top 4 or top 3 action here and get those points in the pocket.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that Florida thing, because the one thing I do want to say is their talent ceiling is insane. Like,
Yeah.
their talent is through the roof. They have a lot of talent on that team. They have Skies, Awakening, and Neptune, who I think are three really, really talented players. Like, I think they can really play when they're hitting their levels. Like, if they can consistently do it on the same page, they're gonna be nasty. And then they're adding Havoc to that, which I'm just confused because I haven't seen Havoc play. He hasn't even been playing Challengers, has he? Has he been in Challengers?
He played Challengers for a little bit, I think, and then he wasn't placing well, so
He just chalked it.
yeah, he chalked a little bit. I mean, look, I think Havoc is a fantastic player.
I do too. I just haven't seen him play in a while.
We've seen him at this level play well. I mean, he looked pretty good early on in the season in scrims. You know, someone said he placed top 3 last cup. Then there you go. Like he's been in the mix. But I think want to see a better Florida. Like the time is now for them to put it all together.
Yeah,
we know what we've gotten out of the AR players in their team. Neptune looked pretty good at the beginning of the season, and then I think they had a tough go for a couple weeks. This is a group where they can make a lot of noise and start building some momentum.
What about Toronto, man? You think they're gonna perform how they just performed? Because again,
yeah. I mean, I think their team's set up well. Their map pool is set up well. Now they're gonna get in the situation where teams are just gonna not play them on raid S&D now. Maybe start banning rate control against them. We'll get to control in a minute and how that game mode's going to now change sort of the hierarchy of those teams. But I don't think Toronto's going to fall off. I just think the team's set now. Is Ben Vance going to drop a 1-3 or 1-4 every series? Probably not. But they've got a lot of talent on their team and players step up. And I felt like in the major, everything kind of finally clicked for them. It clicked in the respawns. They were unbelievable in search the entire tournament. If they keep playing at that level, then yeah, I feel pretty confident.
And then even for me, then I don't want to just skip over Dallas. I want to save them for last because I think Dallas is like a key part of this group. How good are they going to look? Are they going to be like the Dallas that we know they are? Or are they going to be coming out losing every S&D, looking kind of sloppy in respawns? Like what kind of Dallas do you think we're going to get?
You know,
be honest with me here.
We're waiting. You go ahead.
I said, be honest with me. Like when you're talking, like be honest.
I thought there was like a whole blurb you're about to like drop.
No, I'm going to talk about it, but I want to hear your opinion first.
I mean, I don't think Dallas like played that bad. Sort of at like the last week and a half, they just lost a tough series of FaZe and they lost a tough series to Ultra. Like I don't. If you take most of their stage 2 in a vacuum, like I think they played pretty well. They just got to play those top matchups a little bit better. They started to look a little bit better in search in this stage. Like I think they're starting to make some progress. Now that being said, like the slaying numbers are really interesting when you look at this team at the end of the stage. It was a bit ugly. So, but I don't think that that's going to be sort of where they're going to settle. I think they're going to continue to step it up because they're a team that can generate a lot of how do I say it, motivation. And I think now that they're sort of outside of that top 2 conversation, like I think the gears are going to start to turn. They're going to get really, really,
That's what
really
I was going to
good.
say. That's what I was going to say. I think their gears might turn. And I don't know what it is or if it's that time of year that I'm just getting this feeling, but I feel like they're the type of team that's about to kick up. I think they're about to fucking kick up. I don't know what it is. I just feel like everything's going to start clicking for them. They're obviously getting their search better. Their respawn always looked pretty good to me. So for some reason, Dallas looks the scariest to me in that group, and I don't know why.
They also have an insane round 11 record, Tom. They're like 7-0 or 6-0 or something in round 11. It's like they have mega ice right now.
And the thing is like I should be saying Toronto because they're the champions, but I don't know.
Toronto. I still like Toronto in this group.
Me too.
What I want to see from Toronto, we've seen this with a couple of teams. They get in the mix in these situations, which is like I want to see what teams now do to try and counter what they've seen from Toronto in this major. Actually, Tom, do you want to pull up the schedule? I'm very curious who Toronto plays.
Yeah, I was going to do that at the end, but it's right up here. So yeah,
we'll take a look at that. You want to talk a little bit about Group B, though, before we get to the schedule?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Let's talk about Group B. Because, and real quick, I just want to add on to Toronto.
Yeah.
They're considered the best team right now in that group. I was just saying I think Dallas might come out and show a little bit of that old Dallas that we saw last year. And I don't know what it is, but I just feel like it might be time. But let's move over to Group B. This is a powerhouse group, especially if we're talking about views here. You got a lot of big names playing over here. We got FaZe, we got Optic, we got LA Thieves, The New York Subliners. We got Seattle Surge and London Royal Ravens. We'll start. Let's start with London. Let's go from the bottom up.
Well, Hunk, we go the other way. I want to make a point of this group.
We'll go the other way.
A fire take.
All right, go ahead.
I think this group is way more top heavy than the other group.
I agree.
I think Optic and FaZe are like pretty much guaranteed that.
I mean, they're both.
Anything insane in the top two spots in this group.
They're both really top heavy, Ben.
Well,
both of them.
I mean,
you have the champions on one side, then the past world champions, then you got Minnesota, who's been red hot. Minnesota has beaten Optic in the last 2 games they've played. They're probably looking a lot better than the LA Thieves. Like that top 3 up there in that Group A is no fucking joke.
Yeah, I know,
it's no joke. I agree with you. I agree with you. I still think the potential and everything. I think the Group B is top heavy, but don't underplay it. These are crazy. Like these groups are crazy.
Here's my thought right now. So Group B you can basically split into like essentially 4 tiers. So the top tier is Optic and FaZe in Chicago. 2 teams that we know are going to be should be top 4 in the major when all is said and done. We know these groups are going to. Do you know these 2 teams are going to get at least 3-4 wins in this group? I'd be really shocked if both these teams went 3-2.
Yeah.
Thieves in New York are the interesting tier to me. We saw a really good Thieves losers run in the major.
Yep.
Now we got to see what happens when they get into a tough group and they're playing really good teams. And again, I want to see their schedule and who they play initially. New York, to me, is a big wild card because I want to see what they look like with Hydra.
Yep.
I think there are going to be a lot of questions about where that team is at. I think Hydra is filthy, and if he comes in, he's a playmaker. Like they're back, like sky's the limit. New York, they're challenging in this group. If they have a little bit of a learning curve, then they're going to have to be fighting for one of these winners bracket spots.
Yeah.
And then the next tier I put is entirely Seattle, who I think is a team that's getting there, but I don't know if like they've got the consistent ability to like beat all 4 of these 4 teams in front of them. So they need to really get in this 3-2 mix to try and get a winner spot. And then I feel bad for London because these are really tricky matchups for London, man. Like,
oh, they're gonna be tough. And London, you got a lot ahead of you. You got a lot ahead of you, man, because these are some good fucking teams. Let me tell you. I'll start with FaZe. I can't believe they went out the way they went out in the major. I can't believe it. You gotta think that they're going back to the lab and they're fucking pissed. You know what I'm saying? I know those guys. They're fucking pissed. They're gonna come out swinging in this group. They're gonna come out swinging. They're gonna be by far the toughest team to beat. We'll see how they perform. Obviously, coming out of that major and getting second. Obviously, they would have liked to see first, but. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Let's talk about it with FaZe, Tom. So there was a big change to control with this patch.
Yep.
And from talking to pros, from talking to coaches, essentially 2 things have happened now. And there's both positive and negatives here. So the positive seems to be that like offense is winning a little bit more rounds, which is great. It's not super defensive now. The problem is like you cap 1 point and suddenly you've got like 2.5 minutes to cap the other. And with the live count, it's basically turning into like a TDM match, and like that second point isn't always getting capped because the kills are just getting run down.
Yeah.
So that benefits a lot of teams that like know how to pace fall, like your FaZes, your Optic Chicagos of the world. The more structured teams like may struggle with this because they're not. That's not like really their play style. They're not gonna try and like spread the map and just sort of like work picks. So I'm really curious to see how this game mode plays out because it's going to change the dynamic of a lot of these teams and sort of like what their win conditions are. They have to rely more on winning hard points and searches because you can't just dominate control defense and then pick your one offense up or just win around 5.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see the new control. I haven't watched much of it. I was watching New York play it a little bit today. I was trying to watch it. What are your thoughts on it? So now you gain time every time you get a tick, correct?
Yeah.
So you get
20 seconds.
Yeah, you get extra time based off just getting a tick on a point. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure.
I don't mind it. I just think 20 seconds is too much. I think if it was 10 and it was halved, it would be better. I just feel like
10 is too little though.
You get
like
a minute,
10 seconds.
Is it though? Because you get 20. If you get 20 per tick, then that's a minute every time you cap a point. And if you insta cap, then
wait,
think about how much time
what did you just say? You just said if you get 2 ticks per point, it's a minute.
No, I'm saying like, sorry, you get 20
you
per
only
tick.
get 20 seconds.
Yeah, but it's 3 ticks, right? Correct.
Yeah. So if you get the whole point,
60
you get a
seconds.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sorry, I didn't phrase that correctly.
But what was it like before when you got a full point? How much time did you get?
That's a good question.
I forget. How much, guys? How much extra time did you get? 1 minute, right? The same.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
The issue, Tom, is the timer. Like the timer will run down before. Remember?
It's just so easy to get a fucking tick. It's just so easy to get a tick. It's so easy to get a tick though, and just keep adding on to the time limit.
People also chalk the points. So like, if you lose the break and you chalk it, then all of a sudden you're just like, it's now 2.5 minutes, and you can just run kills. And you have to remember too that everybody's roasting me in the chat, but then you also get another 20 seconds if you hop on the point. So let's say you chain it and you get 2 ticks, and you just got 1 minute and 40 seconds to play with extra from capping 2 points. So I think maybe that they need to rethink the time a little bit. The tiebreaker is great though. The tiebreaker is going to fix a lot of BS with how defense plays on like maps like Checkmate. I really like that. I think
how does the tiebreaker work? Break it down.
Like the per picks, the per ticks tiebreaker. So it's not based on kills.
Okay. Well, that's better. That's definitely better.
Yeah,
that's definitely better.
I think it's gonna be harder to like kind of explain to people on broadcast, but like I think it works out a lot better. Like actually in practice, it makes like the actual win conditions a lot better instead of just like trying to go for kills and trying to figure out where you are.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked to many of the pro players. Yeah, I was probably gonna try and talk to the New York guys maybe later tonight and just kind of get their thoughts on it. But I wonder how the pros think of it. Do you think they like it? Do you think they like the new change with the points?
I've just seen a lot of,
because I know you're talking to the FaZe guys a lot. Like, how is it? Like, do they enjoy it? Do people like this new control game mode?
I talked to a couple of different teams, and I also saw that Brian Saint tweet out about it, and like I'm very curious like how it plays in the actual match, because like in scrims people throw it alive, so it's like, you know, it's tough. But like the momentum I've seen is because you can get that like minute and 40 seconds before you cap that second point, that like you can kind of just play TDM a lot more on offense. So we'll have to see how that works out in practice and matches, because people play a little bit slower. You know, but I mean, we'll I'm curious. We'll see. There might be some more tweaks needed. I think it plays a little bit better, at least for the tiebreakers in this, but we'll have to see if it makes, at the end of the day, like better offense win rate probably makes it a little bit more exciting for people to watch. And obviously the frustration for teams if like defense isn't as easy to win.
I mean, we'll see, Ben.
Structured style,
we'll see, Ben. Yeah, we'll give it a chance. We'll see some pro teams playing it and see how it goes. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to give it a chance, right?
But it's great for like teams like Optic Chicago and FaZe, like a lot of these top teams, Dallas, Ultra. Like these teams are really good for transitioning to like pushing map control, to playing corners, to like hitting weird timings,
being good cop players,
and being able to like chain like these like 3 or 4 kills in a row.
That's what makes a good team. Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
really good.
Simple stuff like that. But let's move on to the next. Team. You got Optic, right? You got Chicago Optic. Optic Chicago. How are you feeling with these guys? They just had a hurt piece, man. That one had a hurt. That last one when they lined up for that 3-piece to go out like that in a major, they're coming out swinging. You know that those guys are frustrated and they're fired up. You know what I'm saying? Those guys got to be fired up. So I wonder how they're gonna come out. But I personally think with everything that just happened to them, we're gonna see some of the best Optic game that we've ever seen. I think they're gonna play incredible this year, or this coming up weekend. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick, bro.
Yeah, their S&D was starting to come around at the end of stage 2, and they were on a pretty good clip there for a minute. You know, I just think with them, we've talked about this time and time again on the show with their team. It's like they're not a team that seems to have much beyond like a plan A and maybe a plan B, where other teams are a little bit deeper in how they react to situationals. Optic just struggle in that adverse situations where they have to dig a little bit deeper in the strat book. And that's what we want to see from them, like, because you play against good teams, you're not always going to be able to front run them.
It's been weird. It's been weird, Ben. Sorry to cut you off. It's been weird not seeing them stream. Like I'm so used to seeing them play all the time. I mean, when we were first doing the show, I was always watching them, always, because they were always just streaming their scrims. Maybe they're trying to turn a new leaf, like maybe trying not to stream so much anymore, maybe trying to focus on some things. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know a lot of the fans have been talking about it, right? Like they're not streaming scrims that much anymore. Like when are they gonna bring them back? I personally
the same cycle every year, Tom. This is what I hate about this. They do the exact same thing every single year. They stream for like the first 7-8 months, And then, they get to the point of the season where everybody knows how to play the game, so they want to be able to work on more deeper strats, and then it's tougher to stream because you don't want to expose. Every time they stream scrims, everybody in the Call of Duty community watches. Every analyst watches and makes notes. Every team watches and makes notes. Like, everybody's got their stream up.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. I think they're probably mixed in streams here and there, Tom. Like
Ben,
they won't stream every series.
We have a hot take.
I like people are saying what'd you say, Tom?
I said we got a hot take.
Hot take from me?
No, from our cities. He came in. He said, "I miss the old control." He tweeted this 1 minute ago, right when we were just talking about this.
And see what Chris said.
Nice try, dude. Give me my 3 minutes. I'll see you in their spawn. Coming from Simp.
My thing with control is we still need to see how it plays out, like in an actual match, because we know in scrims that like it was still TDM on the old control.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into a real match, people are a lot slower. They try to work breaks as a team, like they slow it down.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it's that big of a problem in a real match. But yeah, it's not. They're not the first people that have said that. But go back to the Optic Chicago thing.
Go back.
Against this group of teams, want to see more consistency out of Optic. They are playing like, I mean, the way this group is set up right now, like if you consider like the top 6 teams, top 7 teams, like four of them are in this group.
Yeah.
And if you're Optic, if you go 4-1 in this group, the same with FaZe. Like if you go 4-1 and your one loss is to like FaZe, if you're Optic and Optic you're FaZe, like you would probably take that. Because they want to start getting back in the top setting. Alec, we were talking about your tweet that you just sent out.
Yeah, RCs, we just saw your tweet because we were just talking about control and how we don't know if people like it. I had asked Ben, do some of these pro players, what do they feel about it? Do they like it? Do they not like it? We weren't too sure. And then you came out and tweeted that you don't like it. And then Simp responded to you saying he loves it. So clearly there's a lot of differences going on amongst the pros and maybe teammates. But we just got to give it a chance and see how it goes, and then we'll talk more about it in another show. But we just need to see a little bit more of it. But I was just asking Ben. But I think
Tom, I wanna know what your thoughts are. We've talked a little bit about Thieves, and we've seen a lot. I'm really curious. What are your thoughts on the changes that New York made?
The Hydra?
Yeah, like if you you were obviously watching the scrims today. Like, where do you feel like they're at right now?
Well, I was watching strictly Hydra today.
Yeah.
Hydra POV. That was my POV today. And mod on this guy's good, Ben. Good. Like, really good. I love the way Hydra plays.
Were you listening to, like, comms or just watching, like...
No, I listened to comms. I was listening to comms. They look great, man. Hydra is just, like, just watching him play is an art, bro. It's fucking beautiful, guys. People who love COD will appreciate his gameplay. They'll appreciate it.
That's a really good guess.
They'll very much appreciate it. The way he moves around the map... His quick decision making, his tack usage, like his movement, like bro, his shot, like he has a really good shot. He's just smooth, man, smooth. He glides. Like when you watch him play, he fucking glides. So he's a really good player, Now, what are the problems people have been talking about Hydra? Well, his comms, he's from France, this and that. Now, let's be realistic. He's not from this country. It's not English is not his first language. So, of course, the comms aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect. But he adds a lot of value to the team in terms of talent. So, while his comms will get better as time goes on, I think he offers a lot of talent to the team. So, I like Hydra getting added in. Now, 1, is that enough? 2, Mac. Why?
You think they should have made the swap for Diamond Con?
I mean, I don't want to say, I don't want to just throw that out there because they know Diamond Con a lot more than me, a lot better than me. And I obviously love the whole roster. I just thought we picked up Mac last year and he was incredible. And he's been good this year too. So like, and I know that, I know Mac is like a big part of why we transitioned last year into being a top team. It was just like, it's just not so much like questioning decision, more of just like, wow, like mind blown. Like Mac went from that to this.
Can I hot take it?
Mac went from that to this, and I can't wrap my head around it. It doesn't make sense to me. But go ahead.
You're going to be pissed at this take, but I don't care because I've been running this line for a minute. If you're New York and you know that you have Mac and Diamond Con, and you know their skill set, and I think they're both like better as AR players, but they're like different AR players. Like, I don't know. They have an academy team. You don't think that they should try to think about how to 5-man this roster? Fuck it. Why not? Like, I'm a little surprised they've let him go on alone and they don't really
5-man.
Yeah.
What do you mean 5-man it? Like rotate people in and out?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it's pretty much what they're doing now, is it not? They're probably gonna try on everything.
Like legitimately, like from series to series.
Ben, I hate when you say this shit. I hate when you say this shit. Bro, what? You can't do that, Ben. You can't. You can't do that. You can't do that.
What's stopping teams from doing it?
You can't. How do you practice? How do you even get on the same page with people if you don't practice with them every day? How do you get?
You rotate and you split practice.
You rotate. Yeah. What do you mean?
What,
you can't. But how do you?
Play 2 scrims a day.
Part of practicing with your team the whole day. Like, you get into that rhythm with those guys. You get into a fucking different breed, like a different it's like a different level, bro. Like, it's like
they've been practicing with Mac and DiamondCon for months now. They've already got that chem. There's not more team cohesion has to happen.
I think they should try different things out from week to week, and when they find something that fucking hits and they see it hitting, you stick with it and you fucking try and do with it. You know what I'm saying? I think you keep Mac and make sure he's ready to fucking go at all times. I would not let go of Mac. I would not.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm telling you, dude, like, and people are roasting me in the chat that this is like stupid and this is not how COD's done. Like, I'm telling you guys that, like, it's obviously hard in Call of Duty because you get a new game every year. But like, once you figure out the consistency and everybody knows the right place to make on the map, why not be situational? There's a way to know, like, you can take this down a path that's doable. Mm-hmm. Now, is this New York roster the one that's going to do it? I don't think so, because I kind of know and know how Clay kind of and the coaching staff probably feels. It's not sort of their kind of mindset. They want to have a squad that they grind with, but I think inevitably a team is going to try this, and it's not like a Seattle try last year where they were like, oh, we don't want to have Enable and S&D, let's swap them out and put an S&D star in. Like, I want to see a team really think about this from like a matchup standpoint and different types of ARs and sub players and how it matches up. You see it in Overwatch, but obviously you got heroes.
Ben, how does that work? Say we're at an event.
Yeah.
Say this is the formula you want to do.
Yeah.
They just recently said that we might be going LAN, right? That this whole LAN shit's coming out. Yeah. Everybody's talking about LAN, bunch of fugazi. We go to LAN. You're going to tell somebody to take all their shit off their setup, take everything out, get off, new guy come in, strap up, start the next map. No warm up, like maybe warming up in the back, no, just getting thrown on stage.
You warm up and rotate. Like, there are ways to guarantee that people are not going that serious cold. Like, I disagree with that take. There are ways that you can do it now. Functionally, like, you need to have enough stations. Like, there's mechanical pieces to it. But I don't buy that argument because they deal with it in Overwatch. I just think it's still like the adventure part of it. It's just like hard structurally to like figure out how to like have 5 players on that system.
This is the thing in Overwatch? They do this in Overwatch?
Yeah, but you have to remember in Overwatch you have heroes. So like certain players are really good with certain characters, and that's why they swap out. We've seen it tried in CSGO.
So it's way different then.
Yeah, we've seen it in like League of Legends. CSGO, they tried it, but I think that was more of an interesting situation with the team and the contract situation. But all I'm saying is that if you're New York in this situation and you know DiamondCon's skill set and you know Mac's skill set, you're not telling me that there are situational matchups where you think you'd be better off having Diamond in one series and Mac in the other.
Ben, there's too much fugazi when you do it like that. There's so much in between that comes down to a
that's
team.
That's how you optimize, bro.
No, fuck optimizing. Listen, if you're New York, for one, you're put in a really, really hard spot. Because a lot of shit hit the fan this year, obviously with the COVID stuff and the restrictions and different things with my hand and a lot of things coming on. Like, they're not in an easy situation here. These are all difficult decisions that they have to make because they have so much talent on the roster. So now it's about figuring out what works. What is the best possible 4 that we can put out there with what we have. And I think you got to figure that out. I think you trial and error some things. You do this, you do that, bada bing, bada fucking boom. But you figure it out. Yeah. You get a week or 2 going, and then you make your decision on who you're gonna put out there, and then you fucking go. That's it. That's personally how I think you do it. Now, if none of these formulas are clicking, and they think that they should be better, now we got to start working trades. Start talking about other things.
Well, I think the tough thing, Tom, is like so. Last strategy would work a lot better if you had like 10 games to play split other than 5. 5 is like what makes it really really hard because if you lose one series, it's like, well, we can't lose another. We basically have to go out and win.
Yeah.
Great. So, if I'm New York, yeah, I mean that'd be my approach. Is like what, like they've obviously committed now to rolling with DiamondCon, but I would like to have seen them sort of try Hydra out with Mac, try Hydra out with DiamondCon, and see kind of what works from there.
It's a hard decision because DiamondCon is very good, Mac is very good. You have Hydra, who's like this young talent that everybody wants to watch play. So obviously you got to give the kid a shot. He struggled with a lot trying to get over here. He did everything he had to do to get here. He put a lot of work in. Now he's here. He's been grinding and he looks great. I mean, I watched him play today and he looked phenomenal. So at the end of the day, if you're New York, you have a lot of talent and it's your struggle. Your biggest struggle is who to put out there. I guess it's a good problem to have, but at the same time, it can get a little scary because there's just a lot that's going on. And if they're not performing well, bringing in new guys or new people, now you got to start thinking about other things because these guys want to win. I know New York, they want to win, and I respect that. I respect that they want to win. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think we just got to wait a little bit more. We need to see more and give them some time. But I think talent will not be an issue. I think just finding the right formula is like the most important thing. So we'll see how it goes.
Who do you have top 3 in Group B, Tom?
Group B, I got FaZe, Optic, New York.
I feel bad not picking Thieves. The first two is easy. New York and Chicago. I'm having a real trouble trying to pick that third spot. I genuinely have no idea. And like it can get kind of wild, Tom. Like if you can get like a weird 3-way tie for like 3 through 5. I think we saw it in the first stage. So then Seattle is a wild card team because we know that they can take people in these series, and if they get hot in this series and they're, you know, they beat London, they beat another team and they're 2-3, like it could be wild if one of these Thieves or New York teams also has 3 losses. So I don't know.
The problem is everybody can beat each other. That's the problem. New York can beat this team, and then that team beats Optic, and then Optic beats New York, and then you know what I'm saying? It's like fucking everybody's beating each other and losing to each other. This shit can get crazy. It can get fucking fugazi real quick.
It's so hard. I would probably agree with you, New York, but like I don't want us to like. People probably watching think we're disrespecting Thieves. I think Thieves is really good. I just have no idea how Thieves is going to play in this group. It was different when they were doing the losers run against some of the bottom teams that also subsequently made changes after they beat them, aka Paris.
Yeah.
But like Thieves now has got to win one of those FaZe versus Optic games. They can't go 0-2 because then their margin for error against New York, Seattle, and London is 0.
I mean, it's not disrespectful though, man. I don't like when people are like, that's disrespectful to these guys because they've been doing this or these. At the end of the day, the question is, who do you think is top 3? And it's an opinion-based question. Just give your opinion. At the end of the day, everybody in here is a fucking super talented. Super fucking talented, ready to go, and anybody can come out. I think very highly at these. I think they're incredible. We just have to wait and see. I mean, we just have to wait and see what the heck happens because there's just so much that can happen with how close the talents these guys are. Everybody keeps spamming Sib tweet. Let's take a look.
I think that we're getting trolled.
Yeah, no, we're getting trolled. We're getting fucking trolled.
No, he tweeted tough scenes 2 minutes ago.
What are you gonna do, guys? You know what I'm saying? I'm mind blown. Sib is not on a tweet or on a team. Fucking tweet. On a team. He should be on a team. He should be on a team.
My read is that the New York rumors that I don't think New York really. I don't know who spread that story.
It wasn't a real story. And whenever I say this, I get called. I get called cap when I say this. But I mean, people can say whatever they want. But it wasn't like it was never a possibility. I don't think it was. Another thing people got to realize is Sib is also on a franchise team right now. He's on Atlanta FaZe. He's a substitute for that team. And how one of the best teams in the game has the best challengers player on their bench makes no sense to me. Somebody needs to buy that guy out and put that guy on a team because he's fucking disgusting. I mean,
well, he should have been a sub for another team.
And then people, and then can I also say something real quick? I really gotta get this off my chest with this whole attitude shit.
Go off, King.
There's a lot of players in the league that always get bitched about their attitudes, but they're still in there because they're talented. So what the fuck is the problem? If somebody has an attitude problem, you let them know what they got to do to change it. And then if they don't change it, then you fucking go somewhere else. But there's a lot of players in the league who have bad attitudes. I'll be straight up. There's a lot of players in the league. And you could say Zoomaa. You could say whatever the fuck you want to say. But it's true. There's a lot of fucking... But they're talented. And that's the problem when you have talented, egotistical players. They're going to have attitude problems. It fucking happens, bro. When somebody has talent that's clear as day, Sib is one of the most talented in challenges, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt. And people are gonna say because I'm friends with him and this and that, whatever. I don't give a fuck. He's talented, bro. Everybody says it. All the pros watch him play and say the same thing. Everybody I talk to, everybody who plays with the kid, all his teammates have said nothing but good things about him. Any teammate that's played with him has always said good things about that guy, how good he is and how talented he is. I talk to Tom Gravity all the time because he played with Sib on the FaZe Academy, and he gasses them. They think he's disgusting. And I just hear a bunch of fugazi about this guy. Like, if I don't care what the fans say. I don't care if fans complain about his attitude. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that stuff doesn't matter.
Can I take this one
Why
step
don't
further?
franchise teams fucking pick the guy up if they want to win? Why not?
So my other thing too is, like, I saw a lot of BS on social media on Reddit that, like, people think that this show torpedoed his chances.
That was bullshit.
I don't think he was ever in the mix. I think this story was just out there to smoke screen another move. Like, and by the way, like, I didn't mind his response. Like, we're kind of putting him on a spotlight, and I didn't care. Like, he's always gonna come out and defend his attitude.
People wanted me to step in. They thought that he was like bullying you. They were like, why don't you step in for Ben? I was like, guys, it's two grown.
When was I getting bullied? He was just asking me how many days are in a year.
Guys, there was two grown men having a simple fucking conversation. What do you want me to do? Step in? Like, they're having a conversation on the internet on their headset. I'm not gonna step in and be Ben's daddy. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, guys. Like, there are a lot of stuff that I read about that was so dumb and blown way.
It was a bit fugazi.
Way out of proportion. And I can understand why people are going to comment this way. Because, listen, man, sometimes people come off the wrong way. Like, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, some of the excuses I'm seeing for why this guy's not getting picked up is just dumb. Like, it's just, and it comes back to just being different times now, because back in the day, a lot of people acted like him. A lot of people, and they still do. And there's pro players who still act like assholes, and nobody gives a fuck because they're pros and they're talented. So, like, hearing all this other side fugazi, all these pro teams making excuses. No, if you want to win and you want one of the best players, then go get them. Like, it's clear as day. It's clear as fucking day. I'm telling you right now, if I was a coach or a GM and I wanted a winning team and I'm looking at challenges, I'm picking him up. Get me that guy. And then I'll ask him who the fuck he wants to play with, and we'll build around him. Because he's a flex player, Ben. He can run it all. He does it all. You just build around him. It's a perfect fucking scenario for success. Yeah. In order to beat the top dogs like FaZe and Dallas and some of these, and Toronto and Optic and Thieves, and looking at all these fucking teams, Minnesota, New York, Florida, they all got these young, talented, these all up-and-coming, incredible talents. How are you going to beat them without... You need to get people like that. It's your biggest chance of winning. Now, granted, I'm not saying a team like New York needs them. I'm saying somebody else needs them. New York has plenty of talent. Fucking FaZe has plenty of talent. Some of these teams can use a guy like Sib. They could. They fucking could. And he's just sitting there, ready to be picked up. And granted, he's on another fucking franchise team. Again, why do you think FaZe picked him up? Why do you think FaZe, one of the best teams in the game, if not the best team, has probably the best challenges player on their bench? Who do you think has the best? Who do you think made that decision? Who do you think wanted him? The players, because he's good. Like, they know he's good. So it just makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Why don't we move up? You want to go take a look at the schedule for at least for Thursday next week?
Yeah. Let's take a look at the schedule. And people saying he's overrated, guys. How many fucking young guns come in and everybody's like overrated online, this and that? Shut up, man. Everybody says this shit. He's clearly showed enough to get a shot. He's clearly showed enough to get a shot. And if you disagree with me, Maron, I don't know. Let's look at that fucking thing. We got Dallas going up against Paris to kick it off on Thursday. What do you think?
Tough matchup for Paris. I got Dallas 3-1. Maybe I'll give 3-1 Dallas.
3-1 Dallas?
Yeah.
This one's tricky, man. Because Paris looks really good. I'm gonna go 3-2 Dallas. I think it's gonna be closer than that, but I think I'll give it to Dallas. I think it gets tricky with Paris because I just don't know how they're looking with Donnie. But it's got to be better, no? I'm guessing it's better. I have no idea, honestly. I have no fucking idea, but we'll see. Then we go on to the next one, Ben. We got Toronto Ultra going up against the Florida Mutineers. This one I got Toronto. I heard Toronto's been looking nice in scrims too. I heard these guys can play. So I
would hope, considering they're running the higher win last.
I mean they are the champions, right? You are correct, Ben.
What's your prediction?
I got Toronto 3-1.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Let's spot Florida.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this new Florida team. I just don't know against Toronto if that's a great matchup.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do? Nah, we'll save the rest of these for the next show.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the rest of these matches to see if anything stands out to me. Florida's got 2 really tough games off the bat. If you want to go back to that schedule, Tom.
Dude, I'm just looking at Reddit. You guys are insane, bro. You guys are
that meme happens every stage.
Bro, you guys are stupid, bro.
Go back to schedule for a second, Tom.
You guys are stupid, bro.
Stop browsing Reddit. I feel bad. Actually, the team that's like under the pressure the earliest here looks like both London and Florida. Florida's got to play Toronto and Minnesota the first week. That's tough. And it looks like London have to play Optic and Thieves the first week, and that's also tough. Well, Toronto has to play Florida, and dude, they're like some of these teams get like crazy weeks. FaZe and New York play once, and it's on Sunday. That's wild. I don't know. This week 1 schedule's kind of nuts, bro.
Yeah, no, it is pretty fucking nuts, bro.
Dallas,
I'm not gonna lie.
Play Thieves and Optic, bro. We're gonna have some very
we got some good shows coming up. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some big matches, some big games. A lot of fugazi is gonna happen. I can already feel it. I can feel the energy coming through, guys.
Some fugazi.
There's gonna be a lot of fugazi, and we're gonna have to try and get some people on the show and get some guests on here to.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, guys, we're gonna be making moves because there's a lot going on. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. But Ben, should we go over to the questions?
Yeah, you want to pull up the thread I made?
So you guys already know, man. Go to COD Competitive Reddit, man. We're always making posts and stuff on there. We like to interact and stuff. We can obviously take a look at some of these memes after, but we got a little post up there. Ben actually posted today. He said Tommy and I are doing a show tonight, recapping the Stage 3 group schedule and some of the roster changes from this week. We are also planning on taking some questions from Reddit today. Drop your questions down below. Thumb up the ones you want answered. --Ben. Shout out to Ben for making the post.
Thank you, brother.
We're gonna go through and we're gonna answer some of you guys' questions. It's always great to interact with the Reddit. I know you guys are always super active on there, so I'm always reading, I'm always watching. I had to call you guys out for some stupid shit I saw, but it's okay. You know, sometimes I'm gonna read things I don't like, and that vice versa. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say things that you guys don't like. So it's gonna be the love-hate relationship that we have, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? But let's go into the first question. Who's a pro from the past who you think hung up the sticks or maybe just walked away from competing too early? Who could maybe even be in the league now, if any?
Oh, this is a really good question. I mean, I was looking what people put in the chat, and I think the answers that they had were really good. I think answer number 1 has to be Karma. I think Damon just got in a shit team situation last year. You would put Damon on a better team, even with the game being what it was. Like, he was still a grinder. I just think he was in the wrong headspace with the team that just didn't mesh well. And I like the second answer that people put, which is Merc. Again, someone that just kind of ended up in a bunch of back-to-back bad team situations, and at that point, he's just like moving over to league ops and the cast.
Yeah, this one's tricky to me. The first one that came to mind to me was Karma. He was the first one. Somebody on here said me. I might be coming back. I don't know. I guess it's good. Yeah, I might be coming back. It's hard to say, honestly. Some people are saying Crowder. A lot of people are saying Nade. What do you think with Nade?
Well, let's talk the Chris one. I think if you talk to Chris, I think he's happy that he's not playing.
I think so. Now. I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, same with Merc, same with Damon. They stopped because they probably just didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, realistically, something in their head told them to move on, which is completely fine. Like when people want to move on, which is why I did it. Which is why I did it.
And Chris wasn't washed when he retired, which is the weird. You know, he just wanted to move to a different role. People were asking me about Nade. Nade's a weird one, bro. Like,
Nade is a weird one. I don't remember
Jetpacks didn't help. I think
the problem with Nade is like once he was off that Optic team, like he was just so big of a part of that brand.
Yeah.
Like him going somewhere else just didn't really feel right. Maybe, you know.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of went off and did his own thing. I mean, Nashot's fucking killing it. So he's like, obviously,
Yeah,
he's
valid now. He's a multimillionaire laughing the bank and having an esports org. But
at the end of the day, sometimes I think the biggest one that this is the biggest one. This is 100% that we need to talk about. Blastful. What the fuck? Why?
I mean, Blast might get another shot with a team. The weird thing with Blast is he never. What was the best team?
I mean,
what was the best team that Blast ever ended up on though? Like in terms of team that had the highest potential.
He was on that complexity team with Dashy.
But that team was never like.
That team was kind of shit.
Top 4
what was some other teams that he was on? Guys, Blastful is not ass.
He was on LAG last year.
He is not ass. He hasn't performed well. Let's be honest. He hasn't showed the best performances, but he's by any means not ass. That kid, he's good. Like, that kid is talented. Like, Blast is talented. He just struggled on land. Like, he had his own mental problem going on when it came to land. But talent was sure not that kid's problem.
But he was never teaming on like the problem with Blast is he never got to like an elite team. Like
yeah, but sometimes, sometimes when you get to in those positions where you gotta still shine, you gotta do what you do because none of these top teams are gonna give a fuck about you unless you're performing, whether you're losing or not. That's why when things are going south, and I always talk to people when I say these things, when things are not looking good for your team, focus up, even on yourself, because somebody's gonna go or some things are gonna happen. And if you're not focusing on your own play, you're not good. A lot of people are putting Frosty in the chat. Frosty went to another game, did he not? He played. He went to Halo.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure what the situation is with Frosty right now. Is he playing Halo right now? Yeah, he is. He's on Sentinels right now.
That's what I'm saying. He just didn't want to fuck. He was just like, fuck it, I want to go play. I want to go play Halo. But I guess that goes right back to the question. I mean, who do you think stepped away too early? People are saying Frosty should have stayed in COD. Maybe stepped away too early from it. He might come back to it. I don't really know. But he was always a full blown Halo guy. He was always a Halo guy. Now he was just in the stream yesterday. He was just here. We were just talking to him. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. That guy's so talented. Whatever makes him happy, but he definitely could have stayed in COD. He was one of the best COD players for sure. These Halo guys are a different breed, different fucking breed.
We'll do one more. Two people I see that are passing around the chat, like Tommy and Rated. So Tommy like was a weird one to me because like he was playing really good in Black Ops 4.
I feel like he didn't like competing.
But I just think it's again like with Chris. Like I just think the headspace was there for him. I think the problem with Reese was like. Reese got in that cycle of just teaming with the same guys and like that Red Reserve team and just Rated. Reese. I think that like Red Reserve team was just kind of sick of each other at the other end. And I don't know if he was ever really going to get like into a situation where like any elite North American pros were going to like bridge to pick him up. They always had this weird stigma about him, even though he was outplacing them for like 2 or 3 games straight. So I just think he got in a weird political situation, but he's crushing it right now in the Warzone scene, man.
You know, he's doing his thing in Warzone. Yeah. You gotta give it to him. I tried playing Warzone a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not playing with like the right people. I have fun when I'm playing in parties and stuff, but I just can't get into it right now. I'm just doing a lot of other stuff. But Warzone's been really kicking up still, guys. Like Warzone's a big thing. Like Warzone's a lot of fun. There's a lot of big names in Warzone. I really want to start pumping out some more Warzone stuff. I'm gonna try and play it some more, but. There's a whole nother community going on over there, Ben.
Yeah.
But the 100%. Whole nother, you guys might say step away from COD, but they're still in COD, and they're killing it. They're doing their thing. So a lot of these players, I don't know, they just decide to make different decisions.
Yeah, people are saying Enable. That's a really good one. I think he just again got in a shitty team situation. Like he definitely had more in him.
No, Ian couldn't get on a team.
Yeah, but that's because he got in that. That fucking Seattle team was abomination last year. If you take that situation,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there isn't really much he could have done. Yeah, he is. There wasn't much he could have done. Dick Compton. Everybody's putting Dick Compton in the chat. Those of you who don't watch my GTA streams, I play with Enable all the time, and his name in game is Dick Compton.
Well, say about the Seattle team, bro, because obviously killed Damon's career and Ian's career. That team should never have happened, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah,
that's a classic example of how not to build a team. Go to the next question.
Yeah, let's go over to the next one. I do think I just skipped that. Sometimes Reddit confuses me. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Do you think snipers and smokes, if patched soon, would continue to be G8 since it would be constitute a large change to S&D and it's already April?
I mean, if smokes were not one-wayable and S&Ds didn't have like auto aim, then like I think we'd be valid. I think we've had multiple people come on the show and say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like I don't think the pros are like, oh, we're just gonna keep it G8 because we don't like it. It's like it's broken, and if it's still broken, we're not gonna use it. People saying smokes are fixed, but like I've heard that it's not. So which is it?
I'm confused about the smokes too. I don't understand it. I can't.
People are saying they're fixed, but I've also heard they're not fixed.
I've heard
so
both too. I've heard both.
It?
I just don't understand. Snipers are still busted.
Yeah, they need non-auto aim snipers. So
you can run them out of them and use them as a primary. People were pulling them out in respawns in the beginning of the year. So, I mean, as exciting as it is to watch with snipers in the game, if they're not competitive and there's no way to counter them, nobody's even gonna bother on G&A that stuff. But go down to the next one. What's the strongest 4-man roster from challengers you can make of players that haven't played in the league this season?
Sib, Tom Gravity.
I haven't played in the league this season.
We need a couple subs. I would love to put Phantoms on that team, but we need some subs on that team.
I'd go Sib, Desi.
Probably John and Nato. That Sib, Desi, John, Nato. You put Tom as like the 5th man on that roster.
But the roles don't make sense with that though.
Yeah, the roles are hard, but like there's a lot of
without a doubt, Sib, Desi, Nato. People
are saying general. That's another good one.
Who you putting in that 4th spot?
Sib, Desi, Nato?
Yeah.
Probably Tom Gravity.
You could do a lot of people. You could do. I mean, there's so many in here, bro. You got
Methods played in the league.
Methods played in the league. Methods played in the league. Zinni, you don't fucking count. Did you even listen to the fucking question? Brother. You don't fucking count, Zin. You don't count. You don't count. You're in the fucking. You hit the league.
People are saying I'm picking players.
Maybe fellow. Maybe fellow. I think fellow. Maybe.
Can we have a Tom Gravity discussion? This guy's been on the top AM team for like 2 or 3 years now. People are saying I'm biased. You agree with me, Tom? This guy always got slept on for 2 years because he's playing second fiddle to all these challengers players. He's outplacing over them year after year. So I don't get it.
Yeah. What the fuck's up with Zinni, by the way? Why is he not in here? This would be a great conversation to ask him.
He'll probably slide in now that you just said that. So.
And if he better,
next question.
He fucking better. But no, we gotta answer the question. I think Sib and Desi, Nato, and maybe Fellow. I can see.
I like that. I like that team.
I like that.
That's a good team.
I like that a lot. But I don't know. There's a lot of good players, guys. A lot of good players. Yeah. Let's go over to the next one. Why did you feel the urge of pulling your? Okay, let's go to the next.
Yeah, let's go down and talk about that.
Let's go to the next. At the near halfway point of the season, which rosters would you say should be seriously concerned about not making chance in regards to stage 3 groups? And of these, which would you recommend make roster changes?
It's like LAG because they have one bad stage and everything. Like if Florida and Paris like passed them up, like. They're now like stuck. This is like what happened with all the sub players getting picked up because it's like there's this tier of players and challengers, and if you're now like stuck like in this game of musical chairs, now you have to try and make changes with players and maybe don't fit together. So that LAG is the one team that I think is probably more at a crossroads than other teams because pretty much how many teams have made changes now?
A lot of them.
Everybody but Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta.
I mean, you're looking when you answer this question. It's all the teams at the bottom.
LG.
It's just all the teams at the bottom of the standings. So, like, obviously, they're gonna be they're the ones who are gonna be really concerned about not making top 8. It's a race for that top 8 spot right now. So we'll see which you recommend making roster changes. We already talked about in the show. I mean, we can see LAG making a change, but we don't know if they're going to. Seattle maybe. Seattle's a weird one because they've been getting better as time goes on. So it's like they're in a weird spot. I guess we'll see what they come up with moving forward. But yeah, guys, there's just a lot of teams at the bottom that really need to start thinking about this stuff.
By my count, 7 teams have made changes this year, so we've already gone over half. Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta.
Listen, and I gotta say, we got Zinni, ladies and gentlemen, to call, aka Methods.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Methods. You didn't join us today, but you're joining us now, and I appreciate you coming in. One thing I wanted to ask you, Zin, when you came into the stream, the question was who in challengers that have not been in the pro league.
I had it muted, and I saw. I was just reading your chat, and I guess I I put the clue together that that you were making a team out of challengers,
Mm-hmm.
and then I am muted and I hear Sib, Saints, Desi, and then for the fourth, I was like, what? Am I being trolled?
No,
Yeah, I mean,
no.
if it was like players in challengers right now, like in the AR spot, like you're a lock.
I mean,
like,
that's
not really
a pretty good
question.
team. Methods,
Yeah.
Civ, Desi, and Nato. I mean, there's a lot of good players. But Zen, if who would you think are who do you think are the 4 best in challengers right now? Honestly.
Shit.
Yeah, what's your challengers dream team right now, brother? Let's hear it.
Am I still excluding players that were in the league like Jerry?
No, fuck it. Anyone you want.
No, let's do. Okay, fuck yeah,
No,
fuck
anyone,
it.
anyone that you can realistically.
Yeah,
build a team with right now. Let's go.
I mean, I think my current team is really good. Me, Desi, Jerry, and Dave Patty.
Okay.
You think that's you think that's the best team you can make?
I mean, I'm super confident. I mean, like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no, I want to drop this guy for this guy. Like,
yeah, true. Okay, exclude your team. Exclude your team.
Okay, so excluding my team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I included? So am I picking 3 or am I
No,
excluding
you're not
myself?
included. Exclude yourself.
Okay, so then I'm probably gonna go. I can't pick Desi either, because I'm gonna go Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Saints, Sib.
Yeah.
So who's another SMG? Saints, Sib, John.
Okay.
Saints, John, Sib, and I need a main, right?
Yeah.
So either probably Tom or General.
Yeah, that's a good team.
Not too
Solid team right
bad.
there.
Not bad. People are saying Mac. I mean, Mac was in the league. I mean, if it depends how you answer the question.
You were also saying Mike, Major Maniac. Would love to see him. I know. I guess his team, the elite qualifiers this weekend, right, Cindy?
Yep. Well, I'm not in it, but yeah, it's this weekend.
Yeah. But we'll see if his team makes it in. We'll love to see Mike and how he plays at this level, because I think still Major Maniac is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Got in that shit situation.
But let's move on to the next one. Do you think there were better options for Florida? Many here think it was a lateral move. I think I might agree. Or do you think since Cole was sitting on their bench, it made sense to at least give him a try? Ben, we'll start with you.
Good question.
You want me to start? You want me to start this
No,
one?
I'll go. Like,
All right.
there were other moves, but the question is, like, were there moves that they can pull off quickly to then be able to trial those players? Like, it sounded like there was an express need to make a change quickly, and they really only had a limited number of people that they can use that were like players that weren't under contracts already with teams. So I don't know. I guess maybe, but like they wouldn't have been able to make those moves in time. So you would just have to committed to, like, buying out Nato, buying out Sib if that's the move you want to make. So I don't think it was like if they had more time, I would have liked to have seen them try out more people, but like they didn't really have the luxury of time here.
What about you, Zin? What do you think? You think it was a good move by them?
I mean, I don't know, but I was surprised by them picking
so was
Havoc.
I. So was I.
Because you have players like Decimate who are completely free, who have shown like incredible talent and then obviously success in challengers. So it's like I was expecting someone like him, or I mean, I'm not sure about the same situation. Obviously,
Well,
he's signed in New York.
Kinda. Havoc is free. Kinda. Like Desi did have to put somebody on a whole nother contract, spend more cash.
I'd be talking out of my ass if I told you I know anything about Colt in this game, because I feel like he hasn't.
That's what I said.
He hasn't been playing nonstop. He hasn't been at the top, sort of. You know what I mean? So, I don't think Havoc's bad. I mean, I think Havoc has been good.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with someone in the chat that Havoc may make some of the other players better.
I agree. I like Havoc. I like Colt.
But it's like Neptune, who is like, I think Neptune's the X factor, where it's like, I think he can pop off, but I also think he can make some pretty shit plays. Like I don't think he's found his footing when it comes to like the fundamentals on a consistent basis. Obviously, he can get a crazy 3-piece here and there, but it's like that's not always going to win you games. So I don't know. I kind of worry about him and Havoc, because you need Havoc being like that, ratty, do it all type, like spawn, like, you know what I mean? Like he needs to be like their envoy, if that makes sense.
I agree. I like the Havoc thing. One, you already have him on contract. You already have him there. So just throw him in for a week. See what he does in practice, stuff like that. He's messed with these guys before. I feel like Havoc has Florida blood in him. I feel like he fits well with these group of guys. I feel like that's like the kind of, it's a good group that he's in. I feel like their chemistry will be really good. And then I think it'll add a little bit of life to get him back in there. I think Havoc was a big part of that team when he left. I was very shocked when he was gone.
Yeah,
I was like,
same.
where the fuck? Why? Like, why? I was watching him play. He was good at this game. I still think there's more to that. And every time I say this, people say cap and all kinds of shit. Apparently, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. But now he's back, and I'm just excited to see what he can do. So I'm
Wait, who?
Havoc.
Oh, yeah, because I'm seeing shit about Mac.
What do you mean, Mac?
I don't know. People are saying that Mac is... So we just scrubbed Mac and Sib's team. People are saying Mac is back on the New York starting team. And that now Sib's team is number 4th.
Who's what do you mean? Where the fuck are people getting this from?
Sib tweeted something, and then Jintroid tweeted something.
Ah.
Haggis tweeted something.
Oh, do we got a hot take on the flank,
I know,
Zinni?
I'm seeing the tweets, but who knows, man? We do got Ogre T the goat with a little winky face, saying New York scrims might not have gone so well today. So
Check
who knows?
Sib's
Who knows
reply
what's
to
going on
Mac.
over there?
Where did Sib reply to Mac?
Let's take a look.
You were roasting the goat in the chat. I wouldn't advise that.
Oh, he did.
I guess we'll have to see. That's interesting, man. If New York still, they've got some time to play with here. They don't play till Sunday, Tom.
That's what I said.
Next Sunday, by the way.
Guys.
Next Sunday.
First of all, hold on. Let's tone it back a little bit. Let's not act fucking surprised here. I just said this 30 minutes ago. I said, guys, we have a lot of talent on our roster. New York are gonna try different things. I don't know what Mac's doing in the challenger scene, or who he's trying to play with, or what's going on over there, or if he's coming back. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, New York, they're put in a tough situation. They got a lot of talent there to work with, and they're probably struggling on finding a starting roster and who the best. And it's not a bad problem to have. They have a lot of talent. We got Ogre 2 in the chat. I'm just here to stir the pot. What are you doing, Ogre? What are you fucking doing? Somebody mod him too. I gotta mod you. But we'll see. New York has some
Ogre,
time.
Ogre 2 thinks he's Jerry Krause.
He's stirring it
Well, I
up.
mean, the guy's been hitting with his roster moves the last 2 years, so we gotta tip that.
Yeah, no, Ogre, I love the decisions you be making over there.
Big Wake and Neptune, like typical moves out of there.
Yeah, they're a good place going out of the Florida camp for sure. Big fucking place. So we'll see what New York's doing, man. I mean, obviously there's a lot of controversy with the tweets going down, with Mac maybe going back. We'll see. Scrims went well. What I watched, they went well. I mean, I watched three maps from Hydra's POV, and they were going very well. So maybe shit hit the fan over there when I started watching. I don't know, but I definitely saw some good things coming out of the camp. It doesn't, and it, guys, let me also say that winning maps and losing maps in scrims doesn't always matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at other things. I'm looking at potential and certain, because they just threw Hydra in. You know what I'm saying? The scrims probably won't go well for a couple days.
Can I take this another step? From talking to coaches and players in the league, some of the teams that have the worst chemistry and the worst consistency are the teams that sit there and stress about map count and scrims and only trying to win map count and not going into a scrim and being like, we're trying to work on X. Like, that is way more important to make progress in whatever X or Y is, rather than just trying to win every map 250 to whatever. People are saying a hot take. It's not a hot take. You talk to top level coaches and they're going to tell you they'd much rather have their team make the right plays and lose because they know they're progressing and working on what they need to work on, than just trying to run around the map and gun people on and try and win map scrims, because it doesn't really matter. And it's not how you're going to play good consistently in matches.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you, Ben. I agree.
Yeah.
I've agreed with you a lot today, except for that stupid fucking point. Zin, this guy wants to interchange people in the middle of series. He thinks, well, we can do a 5-man roster and start fucking turning people and start changing the team based on the map.
Well, great response, Zin. Let's move to the next question.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. You got more fucking froyo in your fucking mouth.
No, sorry. Listen, I'm doing accountant shit, man.
Accountant shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's tax season, especially with the cross.
I know. I almost had a fucking heart attack a couple days ago.
Especially with the cross-border shit. I'm sitting here. I'm fucking reading this email. I've got a question.
Very tough.
How did I answer these questions? It says, I mean, there's a lot of them.
Are we doing Zin's taxes on stream here?
Yeah, never mind.
All right, let's.
Okay, what was the question? Sorry,
the thing was in that Ben was telling me before that teams should start doing 5-man rosters. He's like they should start interchanging people, but depending on the map, like changing people based on
yourself.
That's what I said. I said you gotta be out of your fucking mind.
We'll revisit this conversation of 5 years. That's all I'll say.
Listen, the only way it happens is if organizations force it. there are no players who are going to be like,
That's
yeah,
what
we
I'm
should do a
saying.
5-man
Yeah, that's what I'm
roster. Let me
saying.
tell you why. You cannot
Yeah.
compare Call of Duty to any other game. We don't have different heroes that people are good with. We don't have a DPS.
Yeah.
I don't even know the fucking names. We don't have a tank. Like, and it's all about reps. Like with the same group of guys, it's like putting yourself in the same position or similar positions as many times as possible to try and figure out every single situation before you go into a tournament. And when you're bringing a new face in, it just gets wonky. And then maybe with search, like if you have a clear-cut shit search player, and it's like, okay, we have this S&D star. It's like I saw Tupac tweeting, and I'm like, yeah, Tupac, you've been pretty good in the search scene. Let me tell you something. This everybody knows. Search scene Call of Duty compared to pro level S&D,
Way different.
they're completely different worlds. I want you to put an S&D star into a pro game of S&D, and I want him to try running down the middle of the map and flanking someone.
Because when you get into the when you get
go 0-9.
When you get into the pro scene, I don't know about going 9. I think Pug's a good player, but when you get into the pro scene, it's like I can see Pug being a good S&D player in the pro scene without a doubt, but he needs to get reps with that pro team that he's playing with. You can't just throw him in and just be like, you're good at S&D, so here you go. When you're playing these pro teams, guys, they're watching your VODs, they're playing mind games, they have strategies to counter you. They're working together, they're pushing shit out together. They have tact spots, they have certain rushes, certain things that they do. They play mind games with you. Fucking mind game. It's a completely different It's a completely different game of teamwork.
I'm not talking. I literally prefaced it with Tupac is good in the search scene.
No,
but he's tweeting as if he can just walk in.
No, you can't.
And stop players. That's just not the way it works.
Yeah,
Granted, you put him on a team and he gets practice for a month. Okay, completely different story.
Yeah.
But it's not like you can just form a team of S&D stars, go put them in a LAN or a 60 hertz match versus pros, and be like, wow, they're gonna get fucking blown out.
But I can see Tupac getting picked up as maybe like an analyst or something, like be an S&D analyst or some shit. Maybe come in and help the team. He was a coach, was he not? He was working with the Optic guys, was he not?
Yeah, he was Chicago. Yep.
Like he could come in and just help out with anything that they need, any advice that they need on the game mode, or so I saw he's been tweeting about that he wants to do shit like that.
Can I take this a step further?
Hey, go ahead.
I think it is really narrow to think that this just applies to having S&D specialists. I legitimately believe you can do a respawn, and I know that every player will always come on the show and disagree with this point, and I understand their POV. But I'm telling you, like the hurdle right now is the consistency in COD from year to year. If you figure out how to solve that reps and chemistry problem, to me, it's like it solves so many matchup issues that teams run into, where just like map pools don't work and roles don't work and matchups don't work, and like it gives you more flexibility to put out the best lineup out there. That's all I'm saying.
Can I have an example? So like I'm assuming what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? Let's use my World War II team, for example, right? Let's say we had a 5-man roster. Me, Octane, and just for the combo, let's say Crim and Seth are flat out SMGs, right?
You need another sub player on that team. Yeah.
So we have a 5th and Zoomaa. You're saying for the 2 AR maps, it'd be me and Sam, and then for the 3 subs map, you'd bench me and Sam for that map. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
I'm saying that
like
you
role specific
you
or
don't
map
even,
specific.
Don't even think that narrow. You don't even know what the conditions that you're trying to solve for yet. All I'm saying is be open-minded about non-traditional solutions to approach a game plan.
I would love to see a team try it.
So there are teams like Atlanta FaZe where they've got players that can do it all, so you don't need this. But there are teams where you have players that are going to be only comfortable in some situations and not comfortable in others. And it's like, how do you take the players that are on your roster and make game plans that work for all or most edge situations? That's where the perspective I'm coming from. I feel like too many times teams are they put themselves in this box of roles and they're just like throwing themselves against a wall, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. I'm just saying that in those situations, we like to see teams be a little bit more experimental. I think it will happen eventually.
Because I'm one of the players who actually has experience in what you're talking about. Last year, on Ultra 10-man roster, there were a couple maps where, so for example, I was subbed out on Cave for a couple weeks, and they brought Bracken. You know how weird it is? So let me imagine this.
That was so weird. I remember this.
I scrim with my team.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Brack sits in my chair, plugs his stuff in, changes my monitor settings for one map. He gets up, he walks out, I play the rest of the maps.
That's what I said. Zin, I said that 30 minutes ago. I said you're going to have people get up, unplug all their stuff, sit another guy down, change the team, play a map, then tell him, all right, thank you. Then he come back and bring in another guy.
So
And then,
a couple
and then it's like,
of
how do you
things.
even gauge if you're better or not? Because Ben, you were just saying that there are teams who strictly focus on map wins in
scrims, I know there are 100% teams
So
that
how
do,
do you
yeah.
so how do you gauge which player is better for the team on any which map if your goal isn't to win scrims, it's to improve? How do you and how do you improve as a team if you're constantly swapping people in and out of a system? Like, I don't know. Like, I do see where you're coming from.
My friend is a secret of the trade, brother. I'm not going to expose on the stream, but all I'll say is to your Toronto Ultra situation, I think it would have been a lot better if your Toronto B roster was playing challengers all year, because you get into a situation where that team is only practicing and they're never getting into like real tournament situations. Now, I totally understand the approach about the hot swapping thing in the chair, and I think there are ways to like work around it from like a mechanical situation on LAN. Moving to PC probably helps because my assumption is that like the way that CDL will run it, like a lot of other like CSGO events run, is your hot swap and SSDs. And the only thing you got to change then is your monitor settings or profile settings on the monitor. But there are ways for players to stay warm in the back. Like, it's not like you're just coming in ice cold.
No, you still don't get what I'm saying. It's just to practice. It's how do you gauge which player is better with that team if you're not trying to win maps, if your goal is to improve in certain situations. Because, like, for example, we tried it, and if anything, it kind of helped me get better on that map, right? So
I was gonna say, Zin, are you that shit at fucking that map?
No, I mean, listen, I was a main AR on Azir Cave. I was mind blown, but the one thing I will say is it pissed me off, and every single time I played Cave during that little trial session, I was fucking disgusting. I was literally like, I was going double positive every single map because I was like,
it's a great map for ARs, and if you're in power spots, you're going to get a lot of like kills and set yourself up for plays. But all I'm saying is that I would not be so close-minded about it just because it didn't work with your team. I think that there are a lot of teams that don't end up in great skill situations. You're playing Atlanta FaZe, for example. Like, you need to figure out how to put yourself in the best position to match up with them across a lot of different maps. And I don't think teams are thinking creatively enough about how to give them more of an advantage or close to an advantage in those series. And that's why I'm saying they would like to see teams, and I think teams will start to do it, explore the extent to which they can utilize a whole roster. It's not going to work for. It's not going to work for every situation.
At the end of the day, Ben, I respect your opinion. We'll see. We'll see if teams decide to do it. I personally think it's a little fugazi, but maybe a team can figure out how to make it work. I mean, it's all going to come down to who the team itself and the formula, whatever works for them, and maybe it'll work for a team. But I'm not sure.
If the players don't buy in, it's not going to work. I agree with that take from Zin. Like, if the players aren't buying into that philosophy, then it's not going to work.
They have to buy into the philosophy, and getting players to buy into that is going to be difficult, very difficult.
Yeah, you got to have a good coaching staff and a front office that convince people.
Go tell Crim6 he's splitting his prize money because you want to add a fifth to bring it in for a map.
Yeah, he'll lose his fucking mind. He'll say absolutely, he'll lose his mind. But let's move on to the next question, though.
With the next question.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one. I don't know if you had something else to add. You sounded like you were about to talk, but I feel like we've been going in circles.
Good. We can talk about this topic for like 49 years.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think we'll see a COD Pro remain competitive into their 30s? At one point, 30 was deemed old in other hand-eye reflex-heavy sports like tennis. In tennis, we have seen Federer, Nadal, Djokovic remain competitive into their 30s. By the way, I fucking love watching those guys, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. I fucking love watching those guys go at it. Remain competitive into their 30s. Could something similar happen with COD pros? I
think so.
I think we can. It's just the possibility of that happening is high with some of the players that we see in the league, but at the same time, it worries me when there's so much young talent coming into the game that I just don't know how long people are going to last. And I know mentally somebody going to like hitting 30 years old and competing, like, bro, it drains you. Like, competing completely drains you. So I don't know if you're in your 30s, if people are even going to want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Here's my point. Because first off, I think there's a horrible stigma, especially in esports, where it's like, bro, I think me at 23 is considered to some teams like I'm an older player. Because you look at like some of the young guns, and it's like, I think it's less about age for the young guns, right? I think it's all about hunger. I think if Simp at age 30 has the same exact drive he has at age 20,
Yeah.
I don't think you see a massive dip in his gameplay. In fact, I think, you know what I'm saying? I think it's very similar.
Depends. It's different with everybody. I don't think you could just. I
don't think we could sit here and say no to this question.
I don't
think that'd
know
be
if
kinda
I agree with
ridiculous.
that take, to be honest.
Well, like
I personally think when people are young and they're in their primes, like the 23s, 24s, 25s, even like 26, 27, still no. But when you're getting up to 30, I don't know. I don't know if people. You think 30-year-old Simp is gonna be playing like 23-year-old Simp?
Yeah, we playing a different game, but you don't.
Why not?
But you think
He
that
might
Simp
be.
playing an
He
AR
might
when he's
be.
30 is still going to have gun skill and like smarts? I think it is truly ridiculous to say no to this question. That is the point I'm trying to make. We can't sit here and say unequivocally that we don't think a pro is going to.
Everybody's different. Everybody's look at Clay. Exactly. Clay's 29 and he's still pushing. He's still fucking frying.
Yeah.
It just comes down to the person. But I also know people who were the opposite. As they got older, they clearly fell off.
Okay, but it's not due to the age, and it's also due, like, if you compare it back to like Black Ops 2, it was just very different type of talent. Like, I don't know how to describe it, because like you put those players in their prime up against players in their prime now, and it's like it wouldn't even be close. Like I'm not sure if I didn't know how to describe it actually. All I know is the talent now compared to the talent back then is like completely different.
It's gonna be tough to do.
I mean, you have to keep in mind back then everybody was in school. Like it wasn't like it is now, where like, for example, Impact was known for being one of the best teams. I think it was Impact. There was a complexity. None of their players were in high school, so they're sitting there, they're playing nonstop, and other players are doing homework. Like now, it's like an actual full-blown career. Like no one's going to college if you're a COD pro. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean I could definitely see it without a doubt. Like I can 100% see people playing in their 30s. I think a lot of it just comes down to one, if they want to keep playing, two, if they're playing the same way they've been playing, three, why is everybody saying RIP Twitter? What is Twitter down?
Twitter's down, yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do, guys? You know, we could last a little bit. That's what the Flake is for. You guys can't get news on Twitter, you come here, twitch.tv/Zoomaa, you tune into the Flank. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see some of these players. I mean, there's people getting up there. You got Krim, you got Clay, you got Scump, you got some of the I mean, we got some veteran players who, by any means, they're not old. They're not old at all. Even 30 is not old. So I could definitely see them playing, but it's just a matter of if they're going to.
You got to realize it takes a lot of sacrifice to be it strains your relationships, it strains your friendships, the amount of time. Like, bro, you know how hard it is to eat dinner with your family if you're at home and you got to practice. It's like, I would say it's more so the lifestyle shifting rather than the player getting worse or losing their talent. I think it's all about like, bro, you're 30 years old. Like, you know, it's family time and it's have some kids.
I just think it's like, ridiculous to say that it's not a possibility, bro. We got people that are in their late 50s.
Well, nobody's saying it's not a possibility. Nobody said it was. I mean, the only thing I was saying is, you know, when you get to that age, there's other things that you got to factor in. Where
I don't know, bro. I agree with you guys are saying, but I also think that like some of these young guys have insane work ethic, and like I think they're still going to be in the mix until they're 30.
Yeah, we'll see.
Even some of these older guys, I think Clay's still going to have it for quite a few years from now, and he might be the first one at 30, and then we're just going to look ridiculous in a few years. So
I just want to reiterate how difficult of a lifestyle it truly is. I mean, bro, we have people who are like stressing about booking their weddings because it's like, what if an event falls on our wedding date? So we need to get the schedule, and it's like
it's nuts. It's not a normal
problems,
it's not a normal lifestyle, and that's why when people are getting to that age where they've been doing it for so many years, eventually it just might drain you until you crash. And also, that's where I'm like, I don't know if you're going to see people in their 30s, because we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I could see it,
right? Like,
but it's tough.
Like for example, right? Like let's say, I don't know, maybe I'm veering off, but like an MLB player, right? He's making $50 million a year. His lifestyle to his family is like, okay, listen, I need to travel around nonstop. I won't be around much, but hey, I'm making $50 million. We're set for life. Then you have a COD pro. It's like, well, if you're 30 years old, like I doubt you'll see any COD pro at age 30 play for the minimum for like the love of the game. Does that make sense? It's like, if you offer him $4 million, it's like, okay, yep, honey, I'm gonna go play Call of Duty. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying, dude. I get what you're saying. People just keep spamming in the chat, CDL until tweet. Mac is back.
Twitter's down.
Twitter's down right now, so people are trolling.
Listen, guys, calm the fuck down. Motto, you guys always do this, but we'll see what happens. Let's go on to the next question. There's somebody here who said, "I want to appreciate you, Benjamin J. Nissim." So shout out to the Reddit showing Ben some love, man. But let's go on to this one. Thoughts on the Garrison control and control changes. So
what are your thoughts on? Because you've obviously been playing like Zen. What are your thoughts on control right now?
I think control got worse with the change.
That's what I said, but I was scared to say because I haven't been playing it.
I think it's too much time given. Honestly,
I agree.
I'd like to see maybe 10 seconds, right? Maybe that'll be a little better. Like it's still something, but like 20 seconds per tick, it's basically coming down to TDM for the most part. You have people playing for one tick and then going to get kills in your spawn.
It's a tricky situation. I think that you could just get way too much time added onto the clock, and then it's just gonna be a TDM, like fucking,
exactly.
you know. That's personally how I think it is, and I just like don't want to. I think it was just better the old way, forcing teams that use that teamwork and try and methodically get 4 down and try and stack points, and you know, doing that all like simultaneously. Like there's a whole skill and talent and teamwork behind that. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought control was pretty good. I think the only thing.
Also, I was talking to Krim last night. Sorry to cut you off. Why don't we use 30 lives? Because we used 25 in 5v5. Now we're 4v4 with 30 lives.
So you're saying like
it should be less lives?
Take it away.
Because, yeah, you don't think it should be 25?
I mean, what do you think? I don't think the lives are that much for a problem.
Sorry, was it? No, sorry. It was 30 and 5v5. But don't you think that maybe we could do 25 and 4v4? It only makes sense.
It'll slow it down. It'll slow it down. I personally like the lives right now because it keeps people aren't afraid to make plays and like, you know, do some exciting shit. If you lower the lives, it might slow it down too much. I personally like the life count. I think it was fine. The only problem I had with control sometimes was the overtime fugaze, like who gets the better side was kind of like not random. Like obviously there was things that were calculated into it, but I think there should be a little bit more added into the who gets what in overtime. And then some points on attacking were just so hard to get. Like
know what the sudden death round should be, Tom?
What?
You ever play War and World at War?
What happens there? I think I remember it, but I forget.
If it's 2-2, I think there should be 1 point in the team's fight to capture that 1 point.
That would be cool.
And it's like a longer capture.
That'd be cool.
You do like I don't think stopwatch is that bad.
Stopwatch might be pretty good. I feel like there's a lot of things they can do to make it really entertaining. Like that would be fucking lit. Overtime. There's 1 point, 1 point in the middle of the map. Fucking battle it out until somebody gets the point, or like, you know, or do like an overtime where it's like an S&D round and that's it, one S&D round.
You
I don't know.
Spawn trap pretty well on both. Say on checkmate, right? Like you can get the spawn trap going on either side of that map.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot. You get to
spawn the deep corner, like it's doable.
Or I mean, listen, there's always problems with like time constraints, but like, what about win by 2?
Yeah, win by 2. That'd be good.
Well, S&D was 1 by 2, but that's a separate combo.
But you're saying just keep it all the same, and you have to win by 2. Like, don't you think? Because that might go on forever.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's impossible. I think the best possible play is 2-2 overtime. Like I said, you have 1 point. Both teams fight all like so. There's no clear-cut advantage. It's like both of you need to capture this point now.
Yeah, it might be. Listen, there's things that they could do, I think, to just up the entertainment aspect of it and just try and get a more fair overtime. Because right now, I think that's a little fugaze. I think the overtime is fugaze. And on some maps, I think offense was just too hard. And it was just super defensive heavy. But you can obviously manipulate points and how long it takes to cap things and stuff like that. People were saying CTF. Guys, whenever we mentioned CTF, people don't like it.
We're gonna have this combo again. Let's go to another question.
One
more question and then wrap it up. I think
maybe 2. Do you guys think any team should try and trade for Slasher since LAN could be coming back, or do you think LA should put Slasher back in with the LAN coming back? Love the show. Keep up the good work, guys. What do you guys think?
The tough thing is like, what are you trading to get Austin? Are you sending Thieves cash because that buyout's going to be tricky? And you say sending them back players, why would Thieves want players? So a lot of teams could try and trade, but like, what's your how are you actually getting the trade approved by both sides and then by the league?
It's
I don't
difficult.
see it.
I just don't think. I'm talking to my ass, but like looking at that, I don't think Austin was benched due to being a bad player. I think maybe like we all know how Austin can be. It's like I don't see how it being on land changes the way Austin is and interacts with that team.
That's 100% facts, Annie.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
like,
it all comes down to why they
like,
changed to begin
don't
with.
get me wrong. I think Austin is way better on land than he is on line. Like 1,000 times better. I'm not saying he's bad on line, but he's disgusting on land.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't think LA Thieves is going to be like, yep, land's back, Austin's back in, the trio's back. Like a trio
That's
that
not gonna
hasn't
happen.
worked. You
That's
know
not
what I
gonna
mean?
happen.
That's not, yeah.
That probably won't happen, but I can see Slasher going somewhere else. I mean, there's definitely teams out there who might want to pick him up and use him, but
Yeah,
but acquiring him won't be easy. I know Austin's probably on a pretty hefty contract for who he is. You know, like this guy's no joke, guys. He's been doing it for a long time. He's been one of the best. He's not on the minimum, I'll tell you that. So in order to buy this guy out, you're gonna have to spend some cash. And people are going to start thinking, well, is it worth it? Or should we just go get this guy for the minimum amount of challengers? Like, it's going to come down to how much some of these teams, like how much faith some of these teams have in Slasher. Or if not, he might need to wait till at the end of the year, contract is up. And now maybe expansion teams come in or other teams are making changes. And he's available to put himself on a new contract. And he's out there. He's a free agent. I don't know if he re-upped his 1+1. I don't know what his contract situation is looking like. But I'm sure Slasher's thinking about these things, and I'm sure he's itching to get back in and play. So
the issue is, first off, if you're Thieves and you think Austin's going to be gross on land, how much money do you actually need or actually want to make a potential competitor better? Like that's how it's no longer how it used to be, where it's like, okay, we're not using this guy, we'll gladly let him go. But it's like, well, if this team can beat our team, why would we help make them better? We don't need 50K or however much it is. Like, I don't know. I think that's a way a lot of people think now. Like in the franchise era, it's like you paid 25 million to get in. How much is 50K really going to do for you?
yeah,
So it's a really good point.
that's a good point. At the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Austin finds his way back. But let's do one more question, man. I guess we'll end with this one. I mean, I'm looking around. There's a lot of questions that I'm reading that we already answered throughout the show, but this was like the last one that got a lot of thumbs up that people wanted us to read off. But he said, "Hi lads, do you think the CDL should enforce each team to stream scrims at least once a week to create more content and buzz around the scene? And it's not really a disadvantage if every team does it. I really worry about the scene when Scump goes because let's be real, no other teams really invest time into the content and getting new fans. I understand they want to win, but long term it could be bleak for the scene. Like we see the views drop to like 50K when Optic don't play."
No, that would never. I see what this guy's trying to say, and it's an interesting point. The league would never be like. How do you enforce that? What's your enforcement mechanism? Fines?
It is not the player's responsibility to grow the league.
Yeah, it's not. That's like that's like telling players to do like, bro, if you're gonna enforce players to do content on top of being a professional player, then you gotta pay them more. You know what I'm saying? The players are gonna want more pay for that.
The players are signed to be professional Call of Duty players.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Let's think about the content from the other angle. Maybe the problem is not players streaming scrims, but figuring out how to give players more of a space to stream content after scrims that people want to watch. So how do we get the S&D scene to come back? How do we get the 8s and 10s scene, or the 8 scene now, to be more meaningful that people want to stream it and have fun? Like, that's the problem to solve, and not forcing people to stream scrims.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are saying it is the job of players to grow the league and stuff like that. No, it's not, guys. Now, you can have players in the league that are building their brands. It's a great thing when players do that. I think one of my biggest complaints is why don't players grow their brands? You know what I'm saying? And help the league grow and help themselves grow in the process, because it's only going to help them in the long run. And I personally just think there's a lot of players out there who should be doing more content or doing more stuff around. But I know being a competitor and being there and knowing how much time you put in behind the scenes, it's not easy, guys. It's very mentally draining. It's a lot of content is not easy. Like, it's not. It's just more work that you got to put on top of what you're doing. You're already stressing about competing and winning and watching VOD and scrimming 2-3 times a day and putting so much time. Like, guys, you can't just have COD 24/7 every single day. Content this. You're going to drain out. You're going to burn out. You're done. Yeah. You're fucking done. We're not sitting on our asses with our feet kicked up, eating potato chips, playing video games. Like, these guys are going hard. They're going fucking hard, man. So it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. This will never happen. But I would like to see people pumping out more content. I would definitely like to see people maybe on like you know, like if they have like a couple days off, like make a video here and there. They don't need to do it every day and grind it and go crazy, but you know, do things on the side to help grow their brand and stuff like that. We got a new tweet coming in apparently from CDL Intel. You guys are going absolutely crazy, unless I'm being trolled. But let me take a look. I'm being fucking trolled, guys. There's nothing there. Why do you guys troll?
No, there is a CDL Intel tweet.
I just refreshed it. It's the same fucking thing.
About there's a tweet about Mac.
I don't see it. Can you look at me? I refreshed. I'm seeing the same thing.
Twitter just came back up, guys. Twitter was going through some shit.
I think my Twitter is still down, guys. I think my Twitter is still down. But if you could link me to tweet, Ben,
I'm looking at you right now.
Send it over, because I'm seeing the same one I saw fucking 20 minutes ago. All right, let's drag it in.
This tweet's from 13 minutes ago.
All right, not 100% sure what's going on, but I believe Mac might have been called back up, which would mean Sid, Jintroid Fire need a new fourth. Haggy came on. He's laughing. He said pain. You have Jintroid tweeting out, motherfucker. You got Dante coming out. He said tough scenes and shit. Listen, guys, I don't know what the fuck's going on. What do you guys want us to talk about with this fucking thing? Maybe Mac's getting called up. Maybe he's not. We already talked about it in the show. They have Mac on the sidelines. They're probably interchanging people, trying different things out. I don't know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, let them do what they got to do. We'll get more information soon once it's all released. Haggy's laughing. He's laughing about this shit because he already lost his spot and he had a lot of words to say yesterday. And then Nato came in. They started chirping back and forth and shit. Sometimes I feel like I got a fucking Dr. Phil gimmick going on because people just, guys, half the time I don't even invite people in here. They join up and then this shit just happens. And I'm like, Maron, what the hell's going on? So we'll see, guys. At the end of the day, like I said, New York is in a tough spot and you just gotta wait. Somebody says Slasher tweet. He didn't fucking tweet nothing. He didn't fucking tweet anything, you idiots. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But I think we can end the show there, Ben. I think we answered up pretty much most of the top questions. There's really nothing else more for us to talk about. We're obviously gonna have a lot of COD coming up. Of course, if we hear any other news, if a lot of stuff is going on, we're gonna turn on some emergency flanks and get them popping for you guys. But unless something goes on, if we don't hear any noise, you'll probably see the show back up when the major 3 starts, or not major 3, but the stage 3. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching, man. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to check it out on Spotify and some other things coming your way. We're gonna be working with you guys. We got Methods in here. Methods, thank you for coming on.
Always a blast. You got
always
it.
A pleasure, Jane. Always a pleasure.
11,000 strong and only growing.
Appreciate you, Zane. Yeah, we're on our way to 12,000 subs, guys. I have my hair appointment made. I'm gonna be dyeing my hair, and then after I get that done, then we move on to the next thing, which is getting my dad on the show. So we got some things coming up with the stream as well. So thank you guys for watching, man. Make sure to follow the stream if you haven't already, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm gonna keep